Nigerian there that is not competent and then spoils the equipment, kills the image of the client. So these are things we balance as an organization. What we do is we leverage the competence of the OEMs. We have succession plans, documented succession plans that shows technology transfer onto the locals over a period of time. And remember, this is a journey. So we've developed a framework that measures the competence, and then with competence assess the personnel over a period of years. By doing that, we can comfortably say we're comfortable or we're okay with the level of competence and safety the employee has towards the work. In Nigerdock, we've had over 16 million man hours. Okay. We have over 16 million man hours of expended on the job with absolutely no lost time incidents. So that's a testimony for us. Very few companies in country can boast of that. Now, durations of repairs or the cost and schedule overruns. Again, this is a domino effect. If vessels are not brought in on time for diagnostics or for repairs, definitely there will be schedule overruns. Why? The reason being, as you repair parts on a vessel, you need to do what is called commissioning. So let's say, for example, you have a pipeline on a vessel and you repair the pump. So if you repair the pump, you need to commission that pump to ensure that it's working well. But what happens is, because there's not been maintenance of the pipeline, you commission the pump and you find out that there's a leakage somewhere else. The client wasn't expecting this. So the client comes in with an initial bill of maybe 200,000. But because you've commissioned and you found even more faults because of the age of the equipment and the inadequacies of maintenance, it shoots up from 200 to 220. As a vessel owner, you're already looking at the cost. Again, this is going to have a resultant impact on the schedule, especially if it has a start-to-start relationship. What do I mean by a start-to-start relationship? There are some activities that you cannot do until one has started or one has finished. So that elongates your schedule. And these are things that clients don't want to hear. These are things that clients don't like. But we manage it by carrying the clients along, by working very, very closely with them, by doing joint inspections with the client, and then preferring solutions. So the client could tell us, we want to make a change to the scope of work, and we want you to do it A, B, C. But we can tell the clients and say, look, if you do it A, B, C, it will cost you X amount. But because we know what we're doing, you can do this CBA and it cost you $5,000 less. This way the client is happy. So there are different ways of managing the operational challenges. This is a very important one, competition from neighboring countries. In the earlier slides, we mentioned that there are dry docks in Tema, Navi, in South Africa. But I'd like to talk a little bit more about the West African market. Because of the proximity, it's far easier for vessels to flout the Cabotage Act and go to these neighboring countries and do the work there. One, the quality of work there, we believe, is not up to the quality of work we do here in Nigeria. The cost is another thing. If there's low quality and there is low safety perception, maybe the cost could be very low. For some of you that are project people, you must have heard the saying that safety is expensive, but try the cost of a person's life. It's even more expensive. So we don't know what the safety culture is there, but one thing I can tell you is, not just in Nigerdock, but in the West African countries, There are very, very few companies that can boast of 16 million man-hours without any LTI. It's very, very rare, close to none. So the quality, the cost is an issue. Through discussions with some of our clients, because as a business, we engage with our clients, we get feedback from them. Through the discussions with them, they've been able to highlight to us that some of the tariffs, some of the rates need to be reviewed, especially when compared to the rates and tariffs of other ports in the West African region. And we've taken some of those comments on board. We started discussing with the government on that, and they're receptive. Next slide. The opportunities in the ship repair industry. With the steady rise in oil and gas prices, there will now be more oil and gas projects awarded. With more oil and gas projects awarded, there's a multiplier effect on the use of vessels, on class inspections, and therefore on repairs. Another thing is ensuring or enforcing legislation. We've looked at the Cabotage Act, we've looked at the Nordic Act, and we've commended government or the authorities in implementing these acts. Now we need even more enforcement. By enforcing the act, there is a multiplier effect on the number of Nigerians we can put to work. About 2 to 3 years ago, in Nigerdock, we had, say, close to 6,000 employees. But over time, because of the domino effect of some of these issues in the cabotage, the oil and gas, the plummeting of the oil and gas prices, we've had to demob quite a number of people, thousands of people. But what we're saying today is that if the authorities enforce the legislation, if they take on board the issues that have been raised and close out the issues, we can see Nigerians returning to work. While we had that height of personnel, staff numbers, we were effectively affecting over 100,000 families. Now these numbers have greatly dropped to less than 1,000. So the effect or the impact on the numbers of Nigerians out there is great. But definitely with support from the authorities, we believe we can regain that height in this country. We can also explore new financial models. We can share the financial risks. It shouldn't just be going to the bank, getting loans at high interest rate, double-digit rates. There should be some models that our finance experts can put together in order to reduce, first of all, the term loans and then the interest rates. We can also increase our capacity. In Nigeria and in Africa, there is no facility that can take a VLCC or LNG gas carrier. These vessels have, on average, a tonnage of between 30,000 tons to 200,000 tons. I know there are proposed developments in Nigeria to construct dry docks that can take on these vessels. But as of today, there is absolutely none. Therefore, we're losing this market share to shipyards abroad. Over 80% of the vessels working in Nigeria have actually done their work, their maintenance out of this country. This is reference from the Nigerian shipyards prospectus. So there is capacity, there is opportunity in the industry. We just need to ensure that we put the right things in place to take advantage of these. To improve the turnaround time on repairs, there are a couple of things organization can do. You can sweat your assets, you can optimize asset utilization, optimize personnel productivity in order to improve the turnaround time, get the vessels in and get them out as soon as possible. Because you have to remember that when a vessel is in repair, the vessel owner is losing money on a daily basis. It's very, very important. But if we can manage that better, I believe that the opportunities will grow. Ship repair in Nigerdock. In Nigerdock, we are a one-stop shop. We not only start our operations in Nigerdock, but we start our operations right on the vessel. So we dispatch our personnel to do diagnostic tests and even start some repairs on the vessels before they come into Nigerdock. What does that mean to the vessel owner? Savings, more cash in his pocket. First, because he runs on his own diesel, he runs on his own power, on his own water, on his own equipment. Second, there's a small, effective team that goes on the vessels, do the diagnostic tests, they do the repairs, and it's far more cost excessive because we send our A team to the vessels. Now, upon docking in Nigerdock, we have a range of services, be it mechanical, electrical, hydraulic repairs. We can work on the HVAC like I previously mentioned. We can supply diesel and water piped directly to the vessel while the vessel is undergoing repair. Again, we're improving on the turnaround time. And it doesn't take hours. We can supply at a rate of 160 cubic meters per hour. So within 2 hours, it's done. We've talked about easy access to OEM parts. In Nigerdock, there is no need to wait months to get your parts. Some of the OEMs are right there at your fingertips. What the vessel needs, we can get as soon as possible. We also have 2 machine shops, 2 main machine shops, and over 5 lathe machines. And anybody here that has worked with lathe machines knows that it is not cheap to own a lathe machine. We can reverse engineer parts for the vessels. As the President of SOAN mentioned, some of the vessels are quite old, over 10 years old, some over 15 years old, and some may be older. But the older the vessels are, the less likely it is for the OEM to have the parts. Sometimes the OEMs might have gone out of business. Or maybe they've updated the equipment and are no longer using those parts. So that's where we come in. We can machine the parts to the correct specification and even optimize the parts for effective operations on the vessel. And these are things we've done. We have case studies. We have examples. We've trained personnel on this. Thousands of personnel. So please, you're welcome to come to Nigerdock to verify some of these. In terms of warehousing, we have more than enough space for the vessel owners to store their materials. We have 2 main warehouses. One of them is about 3,000 square meters. It has a temperature controlled area for sensitive materials. We have another warehouse for that is about 1,080 square meters. We can store chemicals, we can store plates, we can store valves, so a whole range of equipment. And a good thing is this: because we are a free zone company, you do not have to pay duties when you import the materials into the company. So as a free zone, You're